Got a third. Better than a last. Alright. So yeah, Korak mentioned, seems more just like garbage 1124 Mon shape to get rid of, and East 4. Is that the D-Line one? No, that was this one. Huh? East 4? Oh, this right here. Let's check, because I also had... What is Toyman doing? Okay, no, yeah, see, they had a legit Yaku to go with it. Cheat that, and they had 1, 2, 3, what's it called? 4 other blocks. Then I'm guessing they drew something around the 5 pin. Yeah, and they switched. Haha. I was thinking, like, what, whenever they called this and then dropped this, I was thinking, alright, it's probably a, what's it called? It's probably a Yakuhai, right? Except it was weird, because, like, I can see Chun, Tone, and they dropped Hatsu. And I'm like, okay, so there's Tone, but then they dropped the Tone. I'm like, okay, so maybe they have either an Anko of the Hatsu or the Tone. And they did. Ha ha ha. Alright, that's nice. And they're waiting on the Dora. Fun stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's go over the notes I got for this game. First one. Should probably close people's hands. Don't want to spoil the fun. East 1, 0, 6th turn, and 7th turn. So yeah, this is a choice I have between either taking 4-6 shape for the 5 and then the possible improvements on that, or I can take the 7-9 shape, which uses the 9 Mondora, but unfortunately if I do end up waiting on that, it will be waiting on the 8 Monzu Dora indicator. So yeah, which one's better? I mean, if I had, like, any Dora at all in this hand, I would probably just instantly throw out that 7-9 Mon, but I don't have any Dora. I could get red Dora with the 4-6 Pinzu, and then technically also with the 5 Monzu, and then the 5 Sozu. But, yeah, for the immediate future, it's like, I guess if I had a choice between, like, Richi Dora 1 on the 8 Mon versus Richi Nomi on the 5 pin versus Richi Pinfu Dora and then versus Richi Pinfu, probably should keep the 7-9 Mon, I think. Yeah, I don't have... Yeah, it's, like, not really that much of a choice. If I had any other Dora, I probably would drop this because the Dora indicator is, like, a really bad weight. And especially in this case, but, yeah. I say especially in this case because if the Dora is like in the middle, Dora indicator is still a really bad weight, but it's not as bad because there's like multiple ways you can wait on it. In this case though, if it's a 9 Mon, then it's like the only way you can be waiting on a 9 Mon is either Tanki, Shabo, or ta-da, that 8 Mon. And then 7th turn, should I reach you this or not? One person's open, Dora's hard to use. They could technically use like the Dora in the Nanko or not, but still, non-dealer, dealer's still over there, this person's right over here, not much action on the board. I got one Dora, first reach. Even if it's an 8 Mon, my discard piles are pretty nice in that they don't give that much information. Like, even with the 4 pin, they have the 6 pin and the 4 pin to work with. And that really forces their hand, especially since Pinzu right now is like nowhere to be seen from this person or this person. So there's a good chance if they do want to defend against me, they're going to have to break up like an Anko or Shunsu or something. So it's like, yeah, Richi. Go. What is the case I don't want to Richi this? If the Dora was like really, if there was a Dora out there that was like really easy to use, then a non-dealer Ricci one Dora on a bad weight is not that great because it'll get punished a lot. But in this case, the 9 Mon's pretty hard to use, so it's a little bit more benefit for that. So yeah, I don't see any problem with reaching there. Okay, next up, let's see. Ace 2. Ace 2. Oh wait, no, I had one more other question right here. So after the Ricci, so this guy was willing to push, like, where was it? Like a 7-pin right here, and I was wondering, like, is there anything about the 6-pin, 4-pin drop that makes 7 like really good? Because like the ways you can be waiting on 7 is either like 8-9, Shunsu pair or Shabo or pair weight. You could have a 6 and an 8, or you could have a 5 and a 6 waiting on the 4-7. The 4 is gone so that one's gone. So the only ones remaining are the 6-8 and the 8-9. So I don't think there's any like inherent thing that makes this like really safe right here though, because like even with the 6-pin, if you had, let's say, a 4-6-6-8 shape, and you had like Pinfu in there potentially, then the normal progression of that would be like throw a 6-pin, and then you hit Tenpai, so you can either wait on the 5-pin, or you can take the Suji trap with the 4-pin reach. So 6-pin coming out first seems important. Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it worth it to potentially try to make this trap more often with like the 6-pin, 4-pin drop waiting on the 7-pin? But to me, it doesn't really seem like that major of like a trap. It's probably more so just like they didn't have another choice, if I had to guess, as opposed to like, oh, I'm willing to push this because I think it's really safe. In actuality, it's kind of a push. I mean, 1-pin is technically Shonpai. Do they have any other safe tiles? They don't have a 4-pin. They don't got a 6-pin. So yeah, in that case, I guess because they had like 2 of these and 1 of these, they're like, oh, well, this is probably a little bit safer, because if that passes, then even if they don't get a safe tile this time, they can still drop that one. There's all my 8s! I was wondering where they were. Yeah, this guy didn't fold until like the very last draw. Like, it went around and then, where was it? I think it was right here. They drew the 1 Sozu and they're like, I can't drop that because it's still like 1-4 Sozu's nowhere to be seen at this point. And so they had to fold, and then that gave me Hitori Tenpai. Ha ha ha. Alright. Next up, East 4-0. Shimocha. Oops. So yeah, I was wondering like what Shimocha was doing here, because they cheat this, right? And so if they're going for open Tanyao, then they don't really have any reason to keep a 1-so pair, especially over like a pay and all that, or a 1-mon pair. And then later on they dropped it, and so they have to have like some Yaku in their hand. And so at this point it's like, well, what Yaku can they have? Like, it's not going to be Honitsu because they dropped these. It's not going to be Chinitsu because they dropped those. It's probably not Tanyao either because, like we mentioned before, in the case that they do have Tanyao, you'd probably want to get rid of the 1-mons first and keep like the pay, because you can't use these in your hand. And so you want to throw out the more dangerous tiles first and keep stuff that's like, you know, really hard to run for later. So that's a little bit like reversed right there. So what else can they have? They can't have Itsu unless it's like in another suit or something. But if they had Itsu, then opening up for like a 1,500 point hand is really wasteful, so they probably wouldn't do that. especially that early on with the 3-mon. They could potentially have Sanshoku, but that's also kind of hard. They could have Sanshoku. It's very unlikely, but they could have Sanshoku. There's technically 1 Forsus left, or the more likely option for any open hand, they could have a Yakuhai. So the reason why Yakuhai is like really, really, really prevalent in open hands is because it has a stupidly amazing defensive power. In that, even if you open up and someone calls like Richi or something, you can just like fold back on your Yakuhai. So like in this case right here, we could see Haku. Hatsu came out from them earlier on, so they could technically still have an Anko of that. East came out right here, so they could technically have an Anko of that. And so that's why I was kind of wondering, like, what do they have? Because East was like the only potential Yakuhai tile they had like left available, unless they had Hatsu and Anko, and then they dropped it. And so it's just like, that's weird. And then Hatsu's dead, and so now it's like can only be East if they are going for Yakuhai, or it could be Tanyao, and they just were weird on the reverse. But people generally aren't weird like that in this room.
Richi.
Epots. Sam, watch out for Ankos.
Richi.
Did they get like a 6 this turn? Oh yeah, they did. Wow. Nice. Okay. Next up, South 2-1. 5th turn. Yeah, there's actually a lot I want to review in this hand. So, it's South 2 right now, but there's 2,300 points on the board, which is pretty big considering the differences between me and this guy right here. And also this guy right here. I could pawn this, start moving forward. I could potentially switch over to a Honitsu as well if I get some draws. So that's why I was like, do I want to call this? And I think probably yeah, like 1 pin currently has a couple right there. 4 pin is sharing with like these shapes as well. So calling this right now I think would probably help. It makes the 3 pin a lot less easy to use as well for other people because they can't use it on this side. Plus, as far as like safe tiles are concerned, I still have some stuff I can fall back on if anyone does get a quick hand. So probably yeah. Not to mention, even if I'm going for a regular hand, having like a couple pairs right here and the Haku is actually pretty good because if I need to call the Haku, then you want to be left with like a double pair situation. So 3 pairs is normally like ineffective, but like 3 pairs, if one of them is a Yakuhai, is actually pretty good because you're expecting to call this. So the thing that you're going to be left over with is basically going to be your, efficient 2 pairs. Also Yakuhai. Or Honitsu, potential Toi Toi, potential Haku, potential Chun, potential all that stuff. So at this point, I think I probably should have committed some with the 6-mon drop, maybe. So I have a lot of like safety with the Haku, and so even if my hand does go slow, I could still technically, like fall back and defend. But I really want to win that 2,600 points on the board, and so the 6-mon is actually really strong because I can take in the 4, 6, 7, 8 Mansu and then be able to get that. 4-mon being the door as well. Plus the red 5 Manzu. But we're already in like the 8th turn. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad. Like this guy seems like nothing right now, but looks can be deceiving. This guy dropped the Toits early on, then a 5 and the 8, so that's looking a little bit concerning. But it could potentially be slow, even like maybe a Honitsu. Kind of unlikely with the first drop Yakuhai. This guy also doesn't look that fast right now. So that's why I was like, might as well hold on to it for right now. East doesn't really give me much. Like, Chun would be amazing. Anything around like these would be amazing. But yeah, it's just kind of a question of like, do I want to keep like Tone here and like potentially get like one of the 2 remaining ones of that? Or do I want to keep like 6 Mon here and potentially get like any of the 4s, 5, 6, 7s, or 8s? And I'm like, yeah, probably that one. And I still think that's probably the good idea. Probably still a good idea here. Then this guy opened up his hand, and now it's like, oh, it still doesn't look that fast. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was very fast. Very unfortunate. Sometimes you get hands that have like discards that look like this, and then they're actually in Tenpai. More often times, you have hands that have discards that look like this, and they're in 3 Shanten. But yeah. Regarding the deal in there, with these shapes, I need to get Honitsu. Like, that's still South 2, and so... not to mention, I don't lose that much Uke-Ede. Okay, I do lose a little bit. But the benefit from, like, the 2 Han, potentially, like, 3 Han, is pretty good. Yeah. Follow your dream. Alright, next up. So, 3-0, 5th turn. Oh, this one. So this one is a little bit cheeky. In that I'm like, do I want to keep Hatsu or do I want to keep 1 Mon? If I keep 1 Mon, I get the benefit of being able to draw 2 Mon. And get Tenpai. If I keep Hatsu, I get the benefit of potentially getting one of the last Hatsus and upgrading one of my pairs. So what are like the benefits and like disadvantages of like each one? So keeping 1 Mon is pretty obvious for the advantage. I get to get 2 Mon if it comes, so that increases my Ukeide by 4. Of course, if I do get that, then the hand could potentially be at most 2,600, or it could potentially, I'm sorry, I'm dealer. Yeah, 2,900, or it could potentially be even, let's see. Oh wait, no, yeah, it is 2,000, I'm sorry. So if I get the 2 Mon, then the lowest this hand can be is with the 7-pin Ron. Actually, that would go over, because I have 4, technically 2, and then technically more right there. Yes, that's still 2,000. Yeah, the 2 Mon's like a little bit of a waste, and then like the other side would be kind of good. Whereas if I get the Toy, at the very least, this hand's going to be 7,700 points, potentially even in a Mongon. So, especially being like South 3 and us being really close to this guy, even if we win a small hand, that doesn't like clear us. Like they could still win something and go far away. So a big hand right here is like really good. Another thing that the 1 Mon does is if we later on call a Haku or a 7-pin, and then we throw out the 1 Mon, 3 Mon and anything around the 1 Mon that's connecting to it looks really suspicious. Because it came from our hand, we held onto it over like a lot of other stuff, including like Hatsu and all that. Why did we hold on to it? Probably because we have something connected to it. So that'll make 3 Mon a little bit harder to come out. Whereas if we just Tsumogiri it right now, the illusion of 3 Mon is still pretty good. Not great, because, I mean, it's next to Jor anyway, but considering we do a 6 Mon, like, that's of no concern. Against, like, discards and, like, calls like this, it's basically like, hey, they're probably going for, like, Toy. Let's not drop any tile that we can't see that many of later on in the game. Yeah, later on, Teidashi looks scary, yeah. And so that's kind of the main reason I decided to drop it. Plus, if we do drop this, we get the benefit of potentially getting Hatsu upgrade, which is probably definitely better than a 3 Mon or a 7-pin, even if there's one left. So yeah. And then everyone like was like pushing pretty nicely until like middle game. And then they kept pushing. This guy, Shonpai, 3-pin. 8 so's technically okay from here, but hey, I've had a switch, so that's technically a little bit dangerous. 4 Mon is door indicator. They're just like, I don't care. 2 so, Shonpai, Sha. That's pretty good. 3-pin's pretty good. 1 pin Genbutsu, 2 so is okay. 9 pin. Well, yeah. Alright. Next up. South 3-1. I accidentally wrote 0. Whoops. South 3-1, 4th turn and 8th turn. This one. So yeah, what should I take here? So I can either drop 9mon, potentially go for Sanshoku and get upgrades around the 6 Sozu. I can drop 6 Sozu, potentially get instant Tenpai with Pinfu with the 5 Monzu, and still keep the potential for Sanshoku open with the 4 Mon and the Sha. Yeah, which one's better? Right now, I think I already know the answer. Right now, given the point situation, so last hand I kind of escaped from this guy a good amount, so they need like a Mongon to catch up to me right now, which is pretty nice, so I don't have to like be super afraid of them. I don't need to go for like the quickest hand possible in order to, you know, escape the clutches of hell. But first place and second place are still pretty far ahead, and so a dealer Mongon right now would be able to like shoot me up to the rankings of actually getting points. Considering that's the case, a 5-mon draw is actually kind of iffy for me. It's like Riichi Pinfu. I probably wouldn't even take the Riichi because like that's a lot of risk without much reward, especially in South 3. So yeah, I should probably drop 9mon here. The benefits of drawing anything around the 6 Sozu is that we can upgrade to Tanyao, Pinfu, potentially Sanshoku, potentially Peiko, Death Hand, which we don't even have to reach if we do get that, especially like on the 8 pin. Dama, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanshoku. Yeah. So I definitely think probably 9mon here instead of the 6 So. Like the low-hanging fruit is the 5mon here, but we kind of want to avoid that. And going on a little. So this guy Riichi, now it's like, Ishanten for me right now with Pinfu, potentially Sanshoku. Currently I have a couple 3 safe tiles for them, but the Sha looks pretty safe for them. I can see 2 of them, it's not their wind as well, and also it's like the 3rd turn, or 4th turn, so that's enough. I'm definitely willing to take this risk right here. Now this happened, and now it's just like yeah. Chun is completely dead except for Kokushi. 7mon is safe against this guy. 7 Sozu is safe against this guy. So let's start off with that. So right here I had a chance to potentially take Ishanten for Pinfu, Tanyao, like Sanshoku, but of course dropping the 9mon is unsafe for this guy, and even though it is a 1 chance and all that, dealing it to him is probably the worst possible thing I can do right now, aside from dealing it to both of them, that is, so I decided to say goodbye instead, drop the 7 So, which is safe for both of them, and then they dealt in right there. Don't really throw in the 9mon, but I don't want to throw the 1 So later. Yeah. It's just like, I mean, yeah. Like, and also another thing to consider, how much do you think last place's hand is? I don't think it's actually that much, maybe. They might have Red Dora and they might have a Death Bomb, but because they're last dealer, they have some flex room to at least just like close the gap. And especially since the Dora is like a pretty hard to use like South, I wouldn't think that their hand is that much, which is all the more reason that I do not want to deal into them. But again, I guess as dealer, like, what's the difference between if it was like a Riichi Tanyao? So if they run me with the Riichi Tanyao, then that's 2,600 points, so 5,200 point difference, plus the Honba, so a 5,800 point difference. Whereas if they get the Tsumo with Riichi Tanyao Tsumo, that covers a 5,000 difference plus that, so 5,400 point difference. So I guess whether I deal in or whether they sumo, it doesn't actually decrease the difference either way, like by 400 points. So maybe pushing is actually okay in the case of just me versus them a little. There are some charts that have, Kazi was mentioning this yesterday too, and then I linked him this one right here. So the later on a hand goes, the more likely it is to get, higher and higher. So if you see a hand later on compared to a hand earlier on, the earlier hand is usually going to be a little bit less points on average because the farther the hand goes, it's easier to, consciously take in Dora. It's easier to consciously make Yaku, etc., etc. But of course, they can still pack a punch. And the fact that they reach it on in the first place means that it's at least good enough that they were willing to take the first reach, especially as as last place. So, yeah. I'm guessing like Richi Pinfu Tanyao, Richi Pinfu, Richi Tanyao. I don't know, what is it? Richi, one Dora, waiting on the 6 pin. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, as long as they have, like, the base minimum to reach, and it's like, yep, I'll take it. Because if they get Sumo and an Uradora, then that's all they need. Alright. And, yeah. Oh yeah, 8th turn. But yeah, as soon as this guy joined the rat race, then it's kind of like, I don't want to drop it. I don't want to like later push to both of them, because this guy is one thing, this guy is another thing. They had, they made the conscious decision to like Okake reach, in South 3, even though the point gap is kind of big. It's against last place, and then if they do deal into a direct Mangon or Hanemon, that does put them at risk at falling into last place in Oras. So they have to have at least something that they're worth fighting for, probably. Probably. But yeah. And that's all the notes, so let's go over those real quick again. So yeah, yeah, after my games, I usually go and write down like some little notes from like each of the things I covered, just to kind of take away the main point. And I was like, wait, I should write these on a blog. Wait, I have a blog. And so it's like, kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Alright. Or I guess kills 2 Richis with 1 Sumo. Or no, kills 2 Ipatsus with 1 Chi. I like that. Alright, so each one, 6th turn. Yeah. This one or this one, which should we take? We like the dropping the 4-6 pin here because we don't have any other Yaku in the hand. Even though the 8-mon weight is not desirable in the least, it is still better than Tenpai only with a bad weight. Let's see. Next up. Shimocha. Oh wait, right, I was supposed to write that up. Okay, next up, East 4. What was Shimocha doing? Oh no, Tenhou, come back. One thing I hate about the client is that if you leave it alone for a little while you are reviewing, or you just like you're looking at a hand review for a while, it'll like disconnect from the server, I guess, and then it'll pop open a window that says, "Do you want to disconnect?" And it's like, yes, on accident. All right. East 4-0 Shimocha. Okay, next up, South 2-1, 5th turn. Yeah. I guess in both of those cases, it's kind of a Tarimai thought. This is the only one that's kind of like, to take it or not, but with the Kyotaku, I still kind of want to take it. Let's see. This is South 2-1, 5th turn. Or I guess not 5th turn, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8th turn. Also gonna bug Kazi with this one. Alright, let's see, South 3, 5th turn. Oh yeah, that one's nice. So yeah, right here we didn't want to drop the 1-mon because the low value in this point situation, and also the danger of potentially revealing our 3-mon weight, or at least giving a clue about it, makes it kind of unfortunate. And then Hatsu also is a potential upgrade. And finally, South 3, 0. Let's see, which one did I want? This one or... Oh yeah, this one. Or South 3-1. So yeah, 5 mon is useless here because the points to first and second are too far. And last still too close. I say close, but like they're still like 8,000 points apart. And 6-0 is really good because it gives Dama Mongon chance plus to take the game. And yeah, so that's all there, and everything's typed up, and I think I took a picture of this one already. Not quite. Alright, and good to go. So, thanks for watching, and I'm going to be jumping to another game right after this, so see you then.